Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Talk English. I'm Jessica, and today we have a topic that is incredibly practical and honestly something that every single English learner needs to know, but nobody really teaches in a fun way.
That's right. I'm Jack, and today we're talking about how to talk about bills and payments in English. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Bills, payments, that sounds boring. But trust me, this is one of those topics that will make your daily life in an English-speaking country so much easier.
Absolutely. Because think about it. You need to talk about money and payments almost every single day. You go to a restaurant and you need to ask for the bill. You call your internet company because they overcharged you. You split costs with your roommate. You talk to your landlord about rent. You set up automatic payments at your bank. These situations happen constantly. And if you don't have the right vocabulary, they can be really stressful.
And here's the thing that a lot of learners don't realize. The words and phrases people use when talking about bills and payments are very specific. You can't just use general English and hope for the best. There's a difference between saying, I want to pay, and I'd like to settle the bill. There's a difference between the bill is wrong and I think there's a discrepancy on my statement. One makes you sound like a beginner, and the other makes you sound confident and capable.
So today, we're going to walk you through all the essential vocabulary, phrases, and expressions you need to handle any bill or payment situation like a pro. Whether you're at a restaurant, talking to a utility company, shopping online, or managing your monthly expenses, by the end of this episode, you'll have the language tools to do it all confidently.
We're going to cover real-life dialogues, common mistakes learners make, formal versus casual ways to say things, and we'll even give you a practice scenario at the end so you can try these phrases out yourself. So grab your notebook, get comfortable, and let's talk about money.
Okay, Jack, let's start with the most basic situation that almost everyone encounters. You're at a restaurant, you've finished your meal, everything was delicious, and now you need to pay. What do you say?
Great starting point. So the most common phrase is simply, can I get the bill please? Or could we have the bill please? Now, here's something that confuses a lot of learners. In American English, people usually say check instead of bill. So in the United States, you'd hear, can I get the check please?
Oh, that's such an important distinction. So if I'm in London, I say bill, and if I'm in New York, I say check. But they mean the exact same thing in a restaurant context, right?
Exactly the same thing. And here's a common mistake learners make. Some learners say, can I have the receipt, when they actually want the bill. But a receipt is what you get after you pay. It's the proof of payment. The bill or check is what you get before you pay. It shows you how much you owe.
Oh, that's a really important difference. Bill first, receipt after. Got it. Now, what about splitting the bill? Because, when I go out with friends, we almost never have one person pay for everything. How do you talk about that naturally?
So there are several great phrases for this. The most common one is simply, let's split the bill, which means everyone pays an equal share. You might also hear, let's go Dutch, which means the same thing. Everyone pays for themselves.
Go Dutch. I've heard that expression, but I never knew exactly what it meant. So if there are 4 people at dinner and the total bill is $80 and we split the bill, everyone pays $20. Simple.
Exactly. And if you want to be more specific, you can say, can we get separate checks or can we pay separately? This is something you'd ask the waiter at the beginning of the meal, not at the end, because it's much easier for the restaurant to keep track from the start.
Oh, that's a good practical tip. Ask at the beginning, not the end. What about when someone offers to pay for everyone? Like your friend says, don't worry, dinner is on me tonight.
It's on me is such a common and useful phrase. It means I'm paying for this or I'll cover the cost. You'll hear it a lot. Lunch is on me. Don't worry about the drinks, they're on me. And a similar phrase is I'll pick up the tab, which means I'll pay the bill.
Pick up the tab. I love that one. And tab is another word for bill. So many words for the same thing in English.
Welcome to English. We love having 5 words for the same thing. So yes, you have bill, check, tab, and sometimes even ticket in certain contexts. But don't worry too much about memorizing all of them. Bill and check will cover you in 90% of situations.
Okay, that makes me feel better. Now let's move beyond restaurants. Let's talk about the bills that come to your house every month. Electricity, water, internet, phone, rent. How do we talk about those?
Right. So these are called monthly bills or utility bills. Utilities specifically refer to electricity, gas, water, and sometimes trash collection. Your phone bill and internet bill are sometimes grouped with utilities, but technically they're separate.
So, if someone asks me, how much are your utilities, they want to know about electricity, gas, and water, not my Netflix subscription.
Right. Although, honestly, these days, some people do include internet and streaming services when they talk about their monthly bills in casual conversation. But strictly speaking, utilities are the essential services connected to your home. Now, let's talk about some really useful phrases for when you're dealing with these monthly bills. One important one is the bill is due.
The bill is due. That means the deadline to pay, right?
Exactly. Due means the date by which you need to pay. So you might say, my electricity bill is due on the 15th, or rent is due at the beginning of every month. And if you miss that date, your bill becomes overdue or past due.
Oh no, overdue bills. That's stressful. And late fees are those extra charges they add when you pay late, right? I've unfortunately learned that one from personal experience.
Haven't we all? Yes, late fees are additional charges for paying after the due date. And here's a useful phrase for when that happens. You can call the company and say, I'd like to dispute a late fee, or is there any way to waive the late fee? Waive means to remove or cancel a charge as a courtesy.
Waive the late fee. That's such a powerful phrase. Does that actually work? Can you actually call and ask them to remove the fee?
You'd be surprised how often it works, actually, especially if it's your first time paying late. Companies want to keep their customers, so if you call politely and say, "This is the first time I've been late, is there any way you could waive the late fee?" Many companies will do it. Being polite is key, though, which brings us to another important skill, knowing how to call about a problem with your bill.
Oh, this is a big one because I know so many English learners who are terrified of making phone calls in English, especially when they need to complain about something.
Totally understandable. Phone calls are harder than face-to-face conversations because you can't see the other person's facial expressions or body language. So let's walk through some key phrases. First, when you call a company about a bill, you might say, I'm calling about my most recent bill, or I have a question about a charge on my account.
That's so much better than just calling and saying, my bill is wrong, fix it, right?
Exactly. Starting with a question is always better. Now, let's say you look at your phone bill and you see a charge you don't recognize. A very natural thing to say is, there's a charge on my bill that I don't recognize, or I've been charged for something I didn't authorize.
I didn't authorize. That sounds very official and strong. What does authorize mean exactly in this context?
Authorize means to give permission or approval. So when you say, I didn't authorize this charge, you're saying, I never agreed to pay for this, or I never gave permission for this charge. It's a very useful word when dealing with billing disputes or unexpected charges on your credit card.
Okay, so we've got restaurant bills and monthly utility bills covered. What about paying for things in general? Like, what are the different ways to talk about how you pay?
Oh, this is a great area to cover because there's so much vocabulary here. So let's start with the basics. You can pay in cash, which means using physical money, coins and paper bills. You can pay by card, or pay with a credit card, or pay with a debit card. And increasingly, you can pay with your phone, or use a mobile payment or contactless payment.
And what about when a store asks you how you want to pay? What do they usually say?
The cashier will typically ask, how would you like to pay? Or will that be cash or card? Or sometimes simply cash or card. And you respond naturally with card please, or I'll pay cash, or I'll use my debit card.
Oh, right. Tap, swipe, and insert. These are all different ways to physically use your card. I remember being so confused the first time a cashier told me to go ahead and tap, and I just stood there not knowing what to do.
That's such a common experience, and honestly, payment technology changes so fast that even native speakers sometimes get confused. Now, here's another really important concept: a payment plan or paying in installments.
Installments. I hear that word a lot when buying expensive things, like furniture or electronics.
Right, so if you can't afford to pay for something all at once, many stores offer the option to pay in installments, which means you pay a portion of the total cost each month over a period of time. You might hear, you can pay in 3 easy installments of $50, or we offer a 12-month payment plan.
And down payment is the first big payment you make, right? Like when you buy a car or a house.
Exactly. The down payment is the initial amount you pay up front, and then you pay the rest in monthly installments. For example, we put a down payment of $5,000 on the car, and now we pay $300 a month. Very common in everyday life.
This is all so practical. Now, Jack, what about online payments? Because so many of us shop online these days, and there's specific vocabulary for that too, right?
Absolutely. So when you shop online, you go through a checkout process, just like in a physical store, but on a screen. You add items to your cart, then you proceed to checkout, and then you enter your payment information.
And what about those extra charges that always seem to appear at checkout? You think something costs $20, and then suddenly it's $28.
Oh, you're talking about additional fees and charges. So there's shipping or shipping and handling, which is the cost of delivering the product to you. There might be tax added, and sometimes there's a processing fee or service fee, which is an extra charge for using a particular payment method or service.
Yuck, processing fees. Those always annoy me. Is there a way to ask about these fees politely before you commit to buying something?
Sure, you can ask, are there any additional fees? Or does this price include shipping? Or are there any hidden charges I should know about? That last one, hidden charges, is a really good phrase because it puts the seller on notice that you're paying attention and you don't want any surprises.
Hidden charges. I like that. It sounds assertive but not rude. Okay, let me ask about one more really common situation. What about when you need to get your money back? Like you bought something, it arrived broken, and you want a refund.
Oh, this is a really important one. So the key word here is refund. A refund is when a company gives you your money back. You can use it as a noun, I'd like a refund, or as a verb, can you refund my purchase?
So refund can be both a noun and a verb. As a noun, I'm requesting a refund. As a verb, they refunded my money within 3 days. Related terms include return, which means sending the product back, exchange, which means swapping it for something else, and store credit, which means getting the value back as credit to spend at the same store rather than getting cash back.
Right, so return is giving the product back, exchange is swapping it for something else, and refund is getting your money back. 3 different things.
Exactly. And here's how you might use these in a real conversation. You walk into a store and say, I bought this jacket last week and it has a defect. I'd like to return it and get a refund. Or maybe, the size doesn't fit. Can I exchange it for a larger one?
Very straightforward, very practical.
And what if the company doesn't want to give you a refund? What phrases can you use to push back politely?
Good question. You can say, according to your return policy, I'm entitled to a refund. Or, I'd like to speak with a manager about this. Or even, I'd like to file a complaint. These are all firm but professional phrases that show you know your rights without being aggressive.
I'd like to speak with a manager, the classic escalation phrase. I feel like that one has a whole reputation of its own.
It definitely does. And while it's become a bit of a joke online, it's actually a perfectly valid and useful phrase when you genuinely need help that the current employee can't provide. Just use it respectfully, and it's completely appropriate.
Great advice. Okay, let's do our vocabulary breakdown now. I want to make sure everyone has these key terms really clearly organized.
Let's do it. Here we go.
Number 1, bill, check, tab.
These all refer to the statement of how much you owe, particularly at a restaurant. Bill is British English, check is American English, and tab is commonly used at bars or for running totals. Example, can I get the check, please? Or, let me close out my tab. In non-restaurant contexts, bill is universal for things like electricity bills, phone bills, and water bills.
Number 2, split the bill, go Dutch.
Both mean dividing the cost among the people in a group. Example, there are 6 of us, so let's just split the bill evenly. Go Dutch is a bit more old-fashioned but still understood. You can also say, let's go halves when there are just 2 people, meaning each person pays 50%.
Number 3. It's on me. I'll pick up the tab. My treat.
All 3 mean I'm paying for this. Example, put your wallet away. Dinner is on me tonight. I'll pick up the tab is slightly more casual and commonly heard at bars. My treat emphasizes that you're doing something generous. Formal version, please allow me to cover the bill.
Number 4. Due, due date, overdue, past due.
Due means the deadline for payment. Due date is the specific date. Overdue and past due mean you've missed the deadline. Example, my rent is due on the 1st of each month. Last month it was 3 days overdue and I got charged a late fee. These are essential words for managing any kind of regular payments.
Number 5. Late fee.
An additional charge applied when you pay after the due date. Example, I forgot to pay my credit card bill on time and they hit me with a $35 late fee. Casual phrasing, they slapped me with a late fee, or I got hit with a late fee. These casual versions express frustration, which is very natural because nobody likes late fees.
Number 6. Waive.
To remove or cancel a charge as a courtesy or exception. Example, I called the bank and asked them to waive the overdraft fee, and they actually did it. This is a very powerful word to know when dealing with customer service. Is there any way you could waive that fee? Is a polite and effective request.
Number 7. Authorize, unauthorized charge.
To authorize means to give official permission. An unauthorized charge is a payment you didn't agree to. Example, there's an unauthorized charge of $49 on my credit card statement. I need to dispute it. This is also important vocabulary for dealing with fraud or identity theft situations.
Number 8. Installments, payment plan, down payment.
Installments are regular partial payments. A payment plan is the structured arrangement. A down payment is the initial upfront payment. Example, we bought the couch on a payment plan. We paid a $200 down payment, and now we pay $50 a month in installments for 12 months.
Number 9. Refund, return, exchange, store credit.
4 related but different concepts. Refund means getting your money back. Return means giving the product back. Exchange means swapping for something different. Store credit means receiving the value as credit to use at that store. Example, the store wouldn't give me a cash refund, but they offered me store credit instead.
Number 10. Shipping, free shipping, processing fee, service fee.
Extra charges you encounter when shopping, especially online. Shipping is the delivery cost. Free shipping means no delivery charge. Processing fee and service fee are additional administrative charges. Example, the dress was only $30, but shipping was $12 and there was a $5 processing fee, so I actually paid $47 total.
Number 11. Statement, account balance, minimum payment.
A statement is the monthly summary of your account activity. Account balance is how much money you have or how much you owe. Minimum payment is the smallest amount you must pay on a credit card bill to avoid penalties. Example, I just got my credit card statement. My balance is $800 and the minimum payment is $25. Important note for learners, paying only the minimum payment means you'll be charged interest on the remaining balance.
And number 12. Dispute, file a complaint, speak with a manager.
These are escalation phrases for when things go wrong. Dispute means to challenge or question a charge. File a complaint means to formally register your dissatisfaction. Speak with a manager means requesting someone with more authority. Example, I've tried to resolve this issue with customer service, but they weren't helpful. I'd like to file a formal complaint and speak with a manager. These phrases are firm but professional.
Fantastic breakdown. Okay, everyone, now it's practice time. Time to put everything together and actually use what you've learned. Remember, pause the episode and speak out loud. Don't be shy. Your English is not going to improve by just listening. You need to open your mouth and practice.
Here's your scenario. Pause. You ordered a pair of headphones online for $45. The website said free shipping, but when you checked your credit card statement, you were charged $53 instead of $45. That's $8 more than expected. You decide to call the company's customer service line. The representative answers and says, "Thank you for calling. How can I help you today?" Pause.
Now pause the episode and respond. Explain the problem clearly. Tell them what happened. Ask for a resolution. Try to use at least 3 phrases from today's episode. Go ahead, pause, and practice now.
Welcome back. Here's one possible response. "Hi, I'm calling about a recent order. I purchased headphones from your website for $45 and the listing said free shipping, but when I checked my credit card statement, I was charged $53 instead of $45. There's an $8 charge I didn't authorize. I think there might be a billing error. Could you look into this for me? I'd like to get a refund for the overcharge, or at the very least, I'd like to understand what the extra charge is for."
That sounds so professional and clear. Notice how you stated the problem, referenced specific amounts, used the phrase "didn't authorize" and "billing error," and asked for a specific solution. That's exactly how you handle these situations.
And here's a bonus challenge for you this week. Look at one of your own bills. It could be your phone bill, your electricity bill, your credit card statement, anything, and try to describe it in English. Say things like, "My phone bill is due on the 20th. My balance this month is $62. There's a service fee of $3. I usually pay by card." Just practice talking about your own real financial situation in English. It makes the vocabulary stick so much faster because it's personal and relevant to your life.
That's such a brilliant practice idea, because when vocabulary is connected to your own life, your brain holds on to it so much better when you're just memorizing random word lists.
Absolutely. And don't forget, you can practice with a language partner too. Do a role play where one person is the customer and the other is the customer service representative. Practice calling about a billing error, asking for a refund, or setting up a payment plan. These role plays are incredibly effective.
All right, everyone, let's wrap up with our main takeaways from today. First, we learned restaurant payment vocabulary, including bill, check, tab, splitting the bill, going Dutch, and how to say "it's on me."
Second, we covered monthly bills and utilities, including due dates, overdue payments, late fees, and how to ask for fees to be waived.
Third, we talked about payment methods like cash, card, contactless, installments, payment plans, and down payments.
Fourth, we went through online shopping vocabulary, including shipping, processing fees, hidden charges, and how to ask about extra costs.
And fifth, we covered what to do when things go wrong: refunds, returns, exchanges, disputing charges, and escalating issues to a manager.
That's a huge amount of practical vocabulary that you will use again and again in your daily life. Whether you're living in an English-speaking country or doing business in English, or just shopping online from international websites, these phrases are essential.
We'd love to hear from you. Leave us a comment and tell us about a time you had to deal with a billing problem. Maybe you were overcharged at a restaurant, or maybe you had to call a company about a mysterious charge on your statement. Share your story and try to use some of today's vocabulary in your comment.
And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend who's learning English. Every review and share helps us reach more learners around the world, and that genuinely means the world to us.
Now, next week, we have another incredibly practical episode coming your way. We're going to talk about how to make small talk with strangers in English without it being awkward. You know those moments in elevators, waiting rooms, or at bus stops where you feel like you should say something, but you have no idea what to say? We've got you covered.
That's going to be a fun one. We'll give you exact phrases, conversation starters, and even exit strategies when you need to end the small talk gracefully. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it.
Thanks so much for spending your time with us today, everyone. We really appreciate it. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and remember, every time you use a new phrase in real life, your English gets a little bit stronger. You've got this.
See you all next week. Take care, everyone, and go pay your bills on time so you don't get those late fees.
Ha! Great advice to end on. Bye, everyone. Happy practicing.